All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the 31st East Bengal Regiment, an absolutely elite infantry unit of the Bangladesh Army. If you've ever wondered how a military unit built for brutal jungle warfare transforms into a global beacon of peace, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to explore exactly how they managed to perfectly balance fierce national defense with vital global peacekeeping.
Shakti, Shastro, Gati, grace, strength, and speed. You hear that motto and you immediately get their whole vibe, right? It perfectly establishes their distinct tiger persona. They aren't just a blunt instrument of force. They are trained to move with incredible agility, strike with immense power, and operate with a level of grace and discipline that earns them serious respect internationally.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll cover the birth of the Tigers, the anatomy of the battalion, their role as guardians of the nation, how they act as peacekeepers to the world, and finally, their traditions and legacy. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Birth of the Tigers.
Okay, so the East Bengal Regiment itself goes way back to 1948, founded by Major Abdul Ghani. Fast forward to 1971, and those first 8 battalions were literally the backbone of the Liberation War. I mean, the legacy there is absolutely massive. So when the newly sovereign state of Bangladesh needed to expand its defense infrastructure in the late 1970s, the 31st Battalion was raised. They're essentially the new guard, stepping up to inherit and expand upon that fierce, battle-tested tradition.
And you can see that intense heritage physically manifested in how they present themselves. We're talking a Bengal Tiger's head cap badge wrapped in a paddy wreath, deep green regimental colors stamped with a striking gold tiger emblem. Out in the field, they rock disruptive pattern camo with a specific tiger shoulder flash, and on parade, a super sharp olive green tunic with a red and green sash. These traditions aren't just for show either. It's a physical embodiment of that tiger spirit they bring into literally every single mission.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of the Battalion.
900. That's roughly the operational strength of the battalion. Just pause and think about that for a second. It's like trying to run a massive corporation where all 900 employees have to move, eat, sleep, and execute life-or-death operations in perfect, seamless unison. It is a wildly complex, highly mobile force requiring intense coordination.
To keep 900 people moving together, you absolutely need an ironclad chain of command. At the top of the pyramid is the commanding officer, usually a lieutenant colonel. They're the ultimate tactical authority, but interestingly, they're also known as the father of the battalion. Below them, you've got the second-in-command handling the heavy lifting of logistics and training, the adjutant keeping strict discipline, and the quartermaster managing the coat, which is the armory, along with all the rations and gear. But here's the really fascinating role, the Subedar Major. As the highest-ranking junior commissioned officer, he acts as the vital bridge, connecting the top brass directly to the Jawans or enlisted soldiers. It's a brilliantly balanced ecosystem.
Now, let's talk about how these folks are actually compensated, because it adds an incredible layer of human depth to their motivation. Everyone falls under the national pay scale. Senior officers are in grades 5 and 6, grabbing command and kit allowances. Your JCOs are in the middle, receiving free rations and special allowances. And the enlisted NCOs and SINICs sit in grades 14 through 17, which guarantees them free accommodation and full medical care at combined military hospitals. But here is the real game changer: UN deployments. When these troops deploy on United Nations missions, they earn specialized risk allowances paid in US dollars. For a soldier from a developing economy, that isn't just another tour of duty. It's often a completely life-changing financial opportunity that secures the future for their entire family.
So tactically speaking, how do you actually group 900 soldiers? The 31st is sliced into 4 main rifle companies: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, all backed by a single administrative company. This setup is absolutely crucial because it makes the battalion super modular. They aren't bogged down in one place. They are ready to deploy specialized line infantry components at a moment's notice to completely different geographic locations.
Which brings us to Section 3, Guardians of the Nation. These guys are the ultimate multi-tool operators. Sure, they are trained for conventional frontal combat, but they also spend months way out at remote border outposts fighting smuggling. They've got deep experience in counter-insurgency too, particularly operating in the treacherous Chittagong Hill Tracts under initiatives like Operation Dabanal. And then they'll rotate right into major metropolitan areas to guard key point installations. Oh, and when a massive cyclone or flood hits, they're stepping in right there to provide crucial disaster relief. They have to constantly adapt to everything from riverine deltas and deep hill forests to dense urban city centers.
And here is where their legacy gets really fascinating. It's this incredible duality of hard power versus soft power. Imagine the sheer whiplash of this. One day, a unit is running highly tense counterinsurgency ops to maintain territorial integrity. And literally the next day, they're acting as local school teachers, setting up medical camps and focusing on community building for local ethnic groups in the Hill Tracts. They don't just secure peace through the barrel of a gun, they actively uplift the communities they protect. It's a phenomenal masterclass in organizational adaptability.
All right, Section 4, Peacekeepers to the World.
You might already know that the Bangladesh Army is historically one of the top troop contributors to the UN, and the 31 Tigers are a massive reason why. It's genuinely wild to think about a unit from South Asia becoming so absolutely critical to the stability of faraway conflict zones. We're talking deployments as a cohesive battalion group into some of the highest-risk missions on the planet, places like DR Congo, Mali, South Sudan, and the Central African Republic. Their impeccable discipline and success rate in these areas have earned them serious international acclaim from the UN Department of Peace Operations. And to keep that edge incredibly sharp, they're constantly running joint drills, like exercise Shantir Ugrasena, operating right alongside the Indian and American militaries.
And finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Traditions and Legacy.
Before a tiger ever sets foot on a battlefield, they go through a grueling, multi-stage evolution. Officers kick things off at the Bangladesh Military Academy. Then it's off to the School of Infantry and Tactics in Sylhet for advanced specialization. But the real soul of their training, that happens at the East Bengal Regimental Center in Chittagong, known as the spiritual home of the Tigers. Finally, when a soldier or officer actually joins the 31st, they undergo a specific unit induction to learn the battle honors completely unique to their battalion. It ensures that every single member is totally steeped in that Tiger identity before they ever see a deployment.
And those traditions, they don't stop after induction. Actually, think about the intense contrasts of military life for a second. You survive a brutal, muddy jungle deployment, right? Only to come back to base and engage in incredibly strict, formal dining etiquette in the officer's mess, complete with traditional tiger toasts. But then on the flip side, you have the Barahana. This is a massive communal feast where the strict rank structure just totally evaporates. You'll literally see high-ranking colonels sitting cross-legged on the floor, eating rice right alongside brand-new recruits. Add in the deep reverence for gallantry honors, like the Bir Protik, and you have this unique set of traditions that acts as a profound equalizer. It cements an unbreakable brotherhood from the very top all the way down.
Because of this intense culture of discipline, operational diversity, and brotherhood, the 31st has earned a serious reputation as a nursery for leaders. They don't just churn out great soldiers, they literally forge the future top-tier brass for the entire Bangladesh Army. Officers who cut their teeth in the 31st very frequently rise to the absolute highest command positions in the country's military, taking those hard-earned lessons of localized hard and soft power and applying them on a national scale. Which leads us with this final, kind of incredible thought. How does a military unit born in the turbulent wake of regional conflict and built for conventional warfare transform into such a compassionate, vital force for global stability? It's a fascinating evolution from their 1948 roots to their inception in the late 70s. The 31 Tigers prove that true, enduring strength is about mastering both the brutal art of war and the incredibly delicate craft of peace. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the highly structured organizations around us manage to adapt and evolve.